The day has finally come, and as of last week, I have officially received my class date to become an airline pilot. After starting to learn how to fly 6 years ago and being a CFI for the last 2+ years, the fact that I finally got that email that tells me when I will be in class is just such a surreal thing. So I wanted to take a moment and just reflect on all of that with you. Hopefully share some words of encouragement with you. And then to wrap it up, I'm going to go through the complete timeline of when I started submitting my applications, when that was and how many hours I had, when I did my interview, and then finally when I received my class date. I'm not going to share the name of the specific airline that I'm going to go flying for because I want to continue to be able to speak my mind on this channel without having to worry about people misinterpreting what I say as speaking on behalf of any certain company. And also, just not saying who it is means that I don't have to worry too much about certain companies' social media policies, and I can continue to say what I want when I want to. So I started flying 6 years ago, I think. It blows my mind. I think people often say to cherish the moments as they go because the time will go by fast. And it felt like such a grind until I finally got that email with a specific date in it. And in fact, like the day before, I had messaged my recruiter being like, hey, do you happen to have an estimate for me? And she had told me that I would be projected to start soon. And I told my friends, my family that, and everyone was starting to celebrate. And I'm like, hold on. Wait until I get a specific class date and then we can talk about celebrating, because you just get in such a grind mindset. So started flying 6 years ago, instructing for the last 2, and instructing has just been one of the hardest and yet most rewarding things that I have ever done in my life. So I know that I'm speaking mainly to the people that are in the instructing phase, or a lot of you even beforehand. The current market can seem very grim at the moment. I don't have the numbers in front of me like I normally do. Usually I have a script on my teleprompter that I read off, but I'm just ad-libbing this one. But hiring's going to pick up drastically over the next year or so. So if you're an instructor, keep your head up and try to make the best out of the situation that you are currently in. Yes, it can be very, very hard and very draining and exhausting, but know that I promise you it will come to an end at some point. It feels so surreal and just like blows my mind that it's finally time to move on to the next step and switch from the training environment of teaching very beginner pilots or being a beginner pilot myself to then moving up to that next step of the career ladder. So finally wrapped this all up. Bit of a short video this week. I went to Halloween Horror Nights in Universal over the weekend and my voice is just like trashed. So I'm trying not to talk for too long. So I submitted my application to this airline on, well, I've got it pulled up on my notes here, October 23rd of 2024. So last year, October 23rd. I don't remember exactly how many hours I was at, but I think it was somewhere in the ballpark of 1,100-ish. So I was at 1,100 hours. I need the full 1,500 hours. I submitted my application. A few days after that, I got the email saying, hey, we want to invite you for an interview. It was a virtual interview. And then I scheduled my interview as far out in advance as I could just to give me more time to prepare. So I took my interview on November 20th of last year. The interview was very tough, but not overwhelming. It was a couple hours long. It was all virtual, a lot of HR questions, a lot of technical questions, a good mix of everything. From there, I then emailed my recruiter every single month on the first of the month. I feel very bad for my recruiter that I was such a pain, but I emailed her on the first of every month month being like, hey, do you happen to have any updates for me, any projections? And for a while, it just kept being, it was just a lot of, oh, it'll be later this year, it'll be later this year, it'll be later this year. And then the last couple of months, it actually kind of started to trend into, it'll be early next year, it'll be early next year, it might be spring of next year. So that was a little demoralizing. I mean, we were still getting closer as we got there, but pushing it back obviously wasn't ideal. So, and then finally last week, I think October 7th was the day that I finally got the email. I happened to email my recruiter that day and said, hey, I heard this online. I wanted to come out to you if you happen to have any updates or if there's any truth to this. And she actually responded to that email later saying, hey, you're projected to start in December. I was like, awesome. And then that night at about 3 a.m., I don't know why people were awake at 3 a.m., but that's when I got the official class date invitation of December 1st. So it was just over a year from interview date to class date. Now I'm sitting at about 1,600 and close to 1,700 hours. I don't know the exact number off my head. I stopped keeping track of it to the decimal point after I hit my 1,500, but it's somewhere near the 1,700 hour mark. So every single person that I've told about this that knows I have a YouTube channel has asked me if I'm going to keep up with posting videos while I'm in training, and I am going to try my absolute hardest to. They might be short couple minute videos. I don't know if I'll have the time or energy to be able to post the full 25-30 minute videos that I usually do, but I'm going to try my best to keep posting something on a weekly basis. So I'm stoked, absolutely ecstatic to move on to this next step of my career, and I'm so unbelievably happy that I get to bring all of you with me. We're almost at a year of posting videos almost every single week. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to comment them down below. I will try my absolute hardest to answer. Thank you all genuinely for watching my videos over the past almost a year and watching me kind of go through this second half of instructing together. And I'm so excited that we get to move on to the next step and that I get to bring you along. So that's all I've got for you this week. I will see you guys next week.